Hey, how are you doing? Oh my gosh. So, funny story. I had the best weekend ever, and I barely got any work done. I had so much fun that it was unbelievable. But now I come to work time, right? I'm on Tuesday morning. I think it's Tuesday. Yeah, right. I don't even know what day it is. And technology is going sideways. Oh, what's going on here? All sorts of things. We got technology going. I'm looking at my group, but whatever. Am I going live, Stacia? I'm just going to check. Do you see me? Okay. So, perfect story. So, realistically, my life is all about yellow today. And that's what I'm really here to talk to you guys about. Okay. So, I'm glad you can make it. So good to see you. Thank you, darling, for being here for me. You don't know me. My name is Zandra, and I am a coach who's been helping individuals, groups, teams, organizations, communities live their best life, figure out what they want, create their vision, mission, values, and create goals and habits that are going to help skyrocket them towards whatever it is that they want. So I'm so glad that you're joining me here today because I'm going to be telling you a little bit more about myself. So I talk about myself all day long, it feels like, but today I'm going to give you a little bit of insight into the yellow mind. Thanks for showing up. So the color code is really about what is your core motivation. And so much of my story is about waking up blind 10 or so years ago, finding that I was not living my best life at all. Just working for everybody else, trying to make their dreams come true. I was a mom, I was a wife, I was all these things, but I was never doing anything for myself. And one day I woke up completely blind in my right eye. And I was blind for a lot of you have heard this story, but I was blind for like 6 weeks. 20% chance I had multiple sclerosis. What is that? It was optic neuritis, just totally clenched up that optic nerve. When I started talking to the doctor, she didn't feel that it really was. She didn't think that it was. She thinks it's stress. She thought it was me. And so I told her a little bit about my life. And so she was like, okay, no problem. She goes, you really need to chill out and relax. And I'm like, I don't know how to do that. So then shortly after, this assessment was sent to me by a friend called the Color Code. She said, I know you dig that stuff, and this really is cool. And she hated all this stuff before. She didn't believe any of it. And she did this one. And in that moment, I realized, oh my gosh, I have been living my life like a red, which we've talked about before, fire, moving things from A to B, logical, likes to be in charge, all that kind of stuff. Really, what my core motivation is fun. I am the complete opposite of everything how I was living my red. So, what is yellow? They're motivated by fun, not moving things from A to B, motivated by entertaining people and making people happy and being joyous themselves, and not being in control. We don't like to be in control. I didn't know that. I lived my life forcing myself into confrontation, trying to deal with things, taking on things that I really didn't need to. But that's kind of what my role was. That's what was kind of expected of me, right? When you grow up with different ways of growing up, sometimes a little T trauma, sometimes big T trauma, sometimes just not having the right guidance or role models. So I grew up very much, you're going to change the world. You're going to be a leader. I'm the first person not to go to any form of residential school in my family. And so I had big expectations on my shoulders as a woman, as an Indigenous person. And so I thought, yes, sir, I'm going to be a red. I'm going to be motivated. I'm going to get things done. I'm going to win these things until I didn't anymore, until I realized, oh my gosh, I'm not happy. I'm stressed out. And I took this test and went, okay, I know what to do. How do I get more fun in my life? And the other piece of it is I'm not logical. I tried to be very logical and I can turn that up, but I lead from the heart. And we'll be learning more about blue in the future, which is motivated by relationships. Well, in the color code, I'm a high yellow blue. And that means I am all about emotion. I am double emotion. Half of me is non-controlling, half of me is controlling. So a little bossy, a little not bossy. But what'll happen inside my head is I have this, no, who cares what people think? Then the other side of my brain will go, I do. I care what people think. So even this blend of personalities within the color code really can shed a lot of light on what's lighting you up, what's making you happy, and really how you're accomplishing your goals, what your goals are, who you choose to spend your time with, how you choose to spend your money. Do you have any money? Because if you're like yellow, you may sometimes just let it fritter through your fingers. So, what are the great things about yellow? What are some things that we need to know? So, yellows are super high energy. We love to, our core motivation is fun, and our natural talents are enthusiasm and optimism. So, we love to bring the joy to everything. Yellows can be happy, sociable, spontaneous, charismatic, and inclusive. I just don't want one person to have fun or love me. I want everybody to have fun and love me. And yes, that can be a really hard load to bear if you're not prepared for it. But really, you think about anybody that's on a stage in the world, there's a good chance they have a high yellow in them because that's really, we are a bunch of unfulfilled actors. If you're a yellow, or if you feel you've taken the test and you're like, well, yeah, I'm a yellow. If you have a strong secondary color, red, blue, or white, that can really help determine how much your yellow comes out. Also, the way you've grown up and the messaging that you're giving yourself can really help you determine, like myself, if your yellow is showing up in, all over the place in the best way possible, right? Because we've all got strengths. But then there's also things that we need to work on, right? So limitations of yellow, our fun core motivation, we can be uncommitted because, oh, geez, things got rough. I don't want anything to do with that. I'm out of here. We can jump ship a lot of times, right? We can be disorganized, and especially if you're neurodivergent. And I think there's probably a lot of yellows out there who maybe are. That's what allows us to, is maybe a little bit of hyperactivity and a little bit of over enthusiasm, getting way too excited about things. And that can be a sign of it. We can be afraid to face facts. Why? Because we're emotional and we just want the world to be fun. We don't want to have to face work or negativity or sadness. A lot of times it's difficult. And we can also be unfocused and impulsive because we just want to do what's fun. So we may have a plan one day, but if something better comes up along, watch out. There I go. I'm over there. So, what do you do with this? So, once I realized that I was yellow, I realized what a struggle it was for me all of my life to be focused, and being neurodivergent, probably a little on the ADD spectrum, undiagnosed. It was very difficult for me to struggle. And I got told to pay attention a lot as a child. And, I was called the social butterfly in class all the time. And so, if you think about some of that messaging, if you've heard that when you were a young person, that may be it. You may have, if you get a yellow who just really likes being in the center of attention and they're not disorganized and distracted, uh, they could even be called teacher's pet because they enjoy making the teacher happy too. That's what some people would say is, oh, you just Pollyanna sunshine. I hear that a lot in good ways and in bad ways, right? People that think that I'm over the top. People think I'm fake. People think that you're not like this all the time. But that's the scary thing with yellow. When you're healthy or somewhat healthy, you are generally feeling this joy all the time. And that's really what my mission has been since I lost my sight. I've been happy. But I'm telling you, I didn't think that I could ever be this happy that I am right now. And it's all because I've really focused on leaning hard into my core motivation and still being red. Like that's what I grew up being. It's still there. That's the whole thing. This is a spectrum. It isn't just one thing dictating who you are. It's about what you do with these tools. Okay? How you implement them into your life is what makes the difference. So you can go to a million courses, you can listen to a million podcasts, but unless you're willing to do the work and declare it to yourself, to someone else, to work through that path, you're going to be stuck like I was, and you're going to make yourself sick from it, and you're going to pursue paths that don't necessarily satisfy you. That's why this color code, that's why figuring out what's really most important to you is vital to your future, for your happiness, to what you want in your life. So that is part of it. So why is it so important for yellows to know? We need to know, or any of the colors. Why do you need to know this stuff? Why? It's going to support your communication. It's going to help you to realize, like me, I got called a used car salesman one time when I was trying to share information. But really, I was trying to convince because that's what I am. I'm a campaigner, I'm a convincer. If you take any Myers Briggs, and I love to convince people of things with my energy. And I got called a used car salesman, realizing then that, yeah, that didn't necessarily have a positive connotation. So realizing how to pull my energy back or turn it up depending who I'm with. It's really about also my time management, right? I'm a procrastinator. That's one of the big features of yellows is because if it ain't fun, we may not want to jump in and get involved in it. So I really need to focus, make my list. I need to break down my goals into really small pieces, chunks, so that I can feel successful because you'd laugh. I have the same to-do list for like 2 weeks now. I've been pecking away at it. Well, that's the problem. Then I get discouraged. I need to look at each one of those to-do items and break it down into teeny tiny little pieces so that I can go, oh, I breathed today. Yes, I checked one of those things off my list. Oh boy, I combed my hair. Like seriously, for some of us yellow core motivated people, that's because it's not fun routine a lot of times. Habits are not fun a lot of times because we just want to do what's in the moment. So if you have a yellow in your life, it's something you need to pay attention to. And but you said yes, San, I had a yellow. So these are some things for my yellows, really focusing on time management, really focusing on breaking goals down, deciding what your goals are too, because some of us have some pie in the sky goals, or we're just the entertainer, we're just a clown, and a lot of sometimes my own perspective, and we don't necessarily set a goal. Our only goal is really to make other people happy. So we can find that we're never getting anything. The other thing is if we're uncommitted and unfocused, it's really going to be hard to work towards our dream goal, find that partner and really be a good partner to them. So it's super important to get to know who you are and what motivates you and your strengths and things to work on so that you can feel good all the time. So those are really for me time management as well, realizing that I am a procrastinator, breaking those goals down. So why do you want to know what other people around you are? Because equally important is you to know your own core motivation. And what's great about the color code is once you will learn your own code, but once you know your code, you get to learn about everyone else's code. And you can also learn how to quick code people, where there's a couple of tools I have where you can ask people 3 questions. I won't tell you have to ask them or even talk to them for. Honestly, you could probably code somebody when I give you these few little tips in a matter of seconds. Sometimes I can read somebody without even asking them questions, just watching their body language, which everyone can do. But I'm telling you, I can do it even quicker now and with less input from them, less talk or less knowing anything about them because I know the signs now. And if I get a chance to talk to them, it's even like boom, boom. I know pretty much for sure what's going on. So that's what I love about the color code. You get to understand and enhance your communication with other people. When you know your kids, your staff, your bank manager, whoever you are trying to influence or in your life to get what you need. And some people, whether it's supporting other people or not, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about people that I need to support me, whether it's to give me the job, whether it's to give me a good deal on my mortgage or my car loan, whether it's for the kids to listen to me, whether it's my case at work to get a raise is influential enough. You can't just go in always with your own language and say, well, this is how I feel. And everybody else should understand that. That's what I used to think is I'm just going to be my awesome, bright, sunny, energetic self and everybody's going to buy everything I'm selling. No, because each person has their own core motivation and you need to know that. That is your path to riches, my friend, is when you can communicate in that way. It's your way of knowing if that partner is your proper partner because there are ways to communicate and we'll be discussing each one of the colors, but there's definitely some the motivations that really mesh better than others. They can all coexist together. But unless you really communicate and understand the circle of people that you're with, your success rate is really going to be hit or miss. So that to me is why the color code is so life changing. It changed my life. And I talk about it all the time. And sometimes I feel like I talk about it too much, but it's really about being in your best communication for people, right? So, a couple tips to talk to people. So, you want to communicate better with a yellow. Um, you need to really take a positive, upbeat approach. Okay. So, even if you've got to discipline them, give them some trouble, don't go in with, we need to have a talk or leave a message on my phone. This is for me. Zan, call me back as soon as you have time. I have a client that does that. And what would I do? I would just be on eggshells, right? Because I'd be just, oh God, why is she mad at me? Well, then I just start saying, why am I doing that to myself? I don't want that. So I text her and say, what's going on? I wouldn't answer, wouldn't call her back. And I'd say, oh, well, you sounded really urgent. So what's up? Well, then she started telling me, oh no, Zan, it's just you called me back quicker when I sound like that. So here I thought this was this evil, mean person. No, I'm training them to teach me to treat me the way they do. And she knows I'm a procrastinator, but if she makes me scared or feel bad or if she's mad at me, that's the blue in me, the emotional person in me, then I'm going to call her back. So I don't do that anymore. I don't roll that way. I get to roll the way that I want to roll, right? But that's really about emotional intelligence and understanding that I don't have to react when other people are reacting. I get to do whatever I want to do, right? Emotional intelligence, self awareness. You want to offer praise and appreciation to them. You need to say, good job. Even I've had employers say, well, give them a paycheck, don't I? Yeah, that's not enough. One, my best friend will say, Zan, you could be paid in praise and certificates. And I'd go, well, don't tell anyone. If it was a framed certificate given to me at a public meeting, then maybe, right? That's yellow. Pat me on the back. Just say good job. And because otherwise, and let me have a fun environment. Because if you want to make it miserable, if you want to have drama at work, I break up with clients. If you got too much drama, if I don't see you making enough progress, if it's always about counseling work, um, I can't do it because it just rains down my energy. So even as if you're an employer, a partner, let your yellow dream, let them be crazy. I would say to my husband, I want to move to the moon one day, just jokingly. And he'd go, oh, that's so silly. And I'd get kind of annoyed with him, right? And then one day I said, oh, I hate when you rain on my parade. He goes, oh, well, what would you want me to say? And I said, say, darling, one day maybe we will. And he goes, serious? And I go, seriously. So now he says that, and it's just a fun thing because that's what yellows are always doing. Generally, if they're healthy, they're not trying to make other people feel bad. They want everybody to be happy. And what that means is you really need to encourage them to enjoy work. You can't make work painful. If you're a taskmaster out there, and I know you're out there, and you're like, this yellow, we need to teach them a thing or two or you're a teacher and you got yellow students. That's what mine were. They thought they were going to be disapproving and look down their nose and try to quiet me and move me away from my friends. And, no, I would just get louder and louder and make a scene and make everyone laugh anywhere and get kicked out of class. So just understand they're not trying to undermine you. They just are really wanting to make this environment fun. And school's boring and work is boring a lot of times. So that's why I encourage my yellows to really think about entrepreneurship, really think about the job they're doing. But if you have coworkers you enjoy doing, you could be digging ditches all day long. If you had a good group of people, that's what yellow can do. They don't even have to love their work. They can love the people they work with. So that's why it's important. If you've got a cancer in your organization that is a drama lamb and making everybody miserable, they don't want nothing to do with that. That is my yellows have nothing to do with that. Okay. So, and let them be yappy. They like to talk. They like to celebrate. They want to feel good. So don't try to push that down. Okay. And, but also one of the things is you also have to make sure that they have a balance in their life, that as much fun as you want to give them, you give them too much rope and they'll hang themselves. So you need to make sure that you give them little bits at a time and then check up with them. So accountability is super important for yellows. That's what I find the clients that I coach, yellows, I like myself, I really need weekly meetings sometimes or weekly texts with them just to say, where are you at? What are you doing? How's it going? Okay. So that's the way that you can support instead of, knowing that they want to do their best job. It's just there's so much other things. And if they're happy, they're happy. So really working with them on that. And yeah, look in here. So that's one of those things. So create a happy environment, keep some structure for them. Realize that they have a million people that they love. Don't be offended. One of the biggest things that I have to say to all of you that I've realized about myself is it's a struggle for me with relationships a lot of times. And what I mean by that is in the moment, I am an in the moment person. So whoever I'm with in that moment, I love them and they're my best friend. And I give everything I have to them. When I'm away from them, I almost I almost kind of forget. It's not that I don't, it's just whoever's in the moment, that's where my sun shines. And so it can be really hard to be friends with a yellow because you can be, well, why didn't they send me a birthday card? Why didn't they reach out to me? Why didn't they call me? Oh my God, baby, it's not because we don't love you. I swear, I love you so much. It's just my brain and it's no excuse. I'm trying to get better at putting things in a calendar so you can help yellow with that. Time management is hugely important. Reminders. So thank God for my Stacia. She helps keep me on track. Thank you, darling, even though it still doesn't help sometimes, as she would tell you. But it doesn't matter. Be there, support us, and just know that we're doing our best a lot of times. And it can be a struggle, especially if you're neurodivergent. So don't give people a free ride. Don't give us yellows a free ride, but really work with us to stay focused in our best way, if that makes sense. Okay. And if you want to dig deeper into this, if this makes sense to you, if any of what I'm resonating makes sense and you want to talk more about it, well, I'd love for you to come and sign up for a game plan with me. A color code game plan is what I've called it. So what you're going to do the color code assessment. You are going to get a comprehensive report, 40 to 50 pages, that is going to blow your mind. The detail that will go and explain all of the interactions between your colors, your secondary, all that type of stuff. And basically how you can best interact with all of the other core motivations isn't about understanding yourself. It's really about the full complement of emotional intelligence, which is self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and social management. Okay. So you need to know all of that to be really, truly successful encourager, influencer, family member, team player, partner, parent, fur mom, dad, person, whatever you want to be, best actor in the world, like me. Whatever you want to know, you need to know this. And then you need to say, what do I do with this? What's the plan? So helping you create a vision, mission, values for yourself. And then looking at what are those big, fucking awesome goals that you want to achieve. The BFAGs, okay, is what I call them. I know I'm going to get blocked on this on Instagram when Stacia makes a clip out of this, but you know what I'm saying, right? BFAGs, baby. I want to know what they are and I want to help you go after them. Okay. So go to my website. You're going to see the link in the comment below. Click on it. Come for a visit. If you're not sure, ideally, let's get together. I have a few spots. I am super busy coming up for the next 3 months. I've got a handful of coaching spots of these one-on-one game plan spots. So if you're interested in working with me, please click that link. And I've got a few. I think you know me well enough already, but if you're on the fence, maybe you're new to this and you're like, I've never seen this chick before. I don't know what she's up to. And you want to know a little bit more about how this can support you. We've got a few 20-minute slots where we can have a quick chat. So there'll be 2 connections in there, one for you to come chat with me, one if you're just ready to jump in and sign up for coaching with me for this session. And I promise you, there's nobody. I have done this assessment with thousands of people, and there's not one person that did not find it to be ridiculously mind-blowing and life-changing for them. So I want to offer you that gift, and I want you to come and see me. And let's get together. Let's create some magic in your life, okay? Because that's what it's all about, sugar. And we're going to see you next week, okay? You are amazing. Be bright, be beautiful, and feel your best self always. Okay. Let me know what you think about this podcast. Share it with your friends is always my joy. Make sure that you like our channel. Come visit us over at YouTube. We love you there too. And just generally participate. Let me know what you think and what you want to hear more of.